What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and today we have a brand new episode of Team Spotlight. In this episode, we're going to fulfill another request, and this time the request was to use the character Spider-Man. Now, as far as viability, Spider-Man could go with a number of characters, and one of the characters that a lot of people like using him with is Phantom X, and I was very tempted to do that myself. But instead, I went ahead and teamed him up with Deadpool. And that's because these two remind me of each other, as far as they are both wisecracking warriors, and they make a lot of jokes while fighting. They can be hilarious at times, and they're both fan favorites for sure. Now for the setup, I'm using the new Bruiser armor. Deadpool, of course, is a scrapper, and I'm using the Future Foundation Infiltrator Spider-Man suit. Now as far as weaponry, there's really not a lot of items that I have that remind me of Spider-Man. The only possible items would be Spider-Man villain items, like the Goblin Glider, and also the Dr. Octopus item, which I believe is called the Galvanic Arm. But for this episode, I decided to go ahead and leave the items that I'm using currently in PvP and PvE. And these items are the Warbringer Axe, which I think everyone's familiar with at this point. Next, we have the Hotshot. And to go with the Hotshot, we have Hard Knocks. Pretty much comes down to either Hard Knocks or Signpost. And I'm going with the Hard Knocks right now. And one of the main reasons is because it applies Soulfire, which will remove buffs. And then lastly, we have the Neurotrope. It gives random beneficial effects. It allows you to perform a counterattack, and the next attack is guaranteed to be a critical hit. So this is a really powerful item. It's absolutely insane in PvE, and in PvP the only downfall is a lot of times the effects are removed by scrolls or maybe by rescue and things like that. So that's kind of the only downfall of it. Otherwise, it's an absolutely amazing gadget. So we absolutely destroy this first wave due to the fact that the Hotshot's going to be a guaranteed crit because we used Neurotrope. And I was actually sad to see that these mobs went down so fast because we are playing on challenge mode, and I expected them to last a little bit longer than what they do. One hit from Hard Knocks takes out the bodyguard, and then we're down to just 2 enemies left in what was supposed to be a hard wave, I believe. I think this was a red battle. There you see Deadpool's banned from PvP, and he does all sorts of funny little things like that. And when I attacked there, I actually noticed that I had really old ISO on Deadpool, so I actually upgraded his ISO after this battle. And I believe I mixed Masterful and Steady. So the key components there are attack and accuracy, and then the difference between Masterful and Steady is just that Masterful adds stamina and Steady adds health. As far as Spider-Man, I believe he has all Skillful ISO 8, which is health, attack, and evasion. It's been a little while since I upgraded his ISO, but it wasn't that long ago, so I didn't bother. It just gets really expensive whenever you keep upgrading your ISO 8 for everyone. So I try to go ahead and just focus on characters that I'm using at the time. Now we're going to go ahead and fight another hard wave here, and hopefully they last a little bit longer. And then I'm going to show you why I'm running this mission in particular. Deadpool is already banned from PvP. And on Spider-Man's turn, we're going to use Spider Sense, of course, every time it's up. And then we're going to go ahead and web someone, the Tactician. And that's just to set up the web slingshot to deal more damage. And that is if the Tactician even lives that long, which he may not. This mission is Chapter 7, Mission 3, by the way. So a lot of you may know what that means. There is an epic boss on this mission, and there also is a very specific drop, which we'll get to once we get to the boss. But right now we're casting Neurotrope, and let's look at some of the buffs that it gives us. So we get Focused, Strengthened, Agile, and you get various buffs for everyone. Sometimes you get Regeneration, but you'll notice we got Strengthened. We also were guaranteed to crit, So that hotshot was bound to take out everyone. So now there's no target with webbed, so we have to reapply the webbed, and maybe we'll get that web slingshot off. It really is capable of doing quite a bit of damage, but there's going to be a lot of counterattacks going on, so it's probably not going to happen in this battle. And there was a huge counterattack right there, followed by a hard knocks. And we did leave the tactician, but he's just not going to make it. Deadpool finishes him. So now we're going on to the epic boss battle, which is against the Green Goblin. This fight may last a little bit longer, but I'm not counting on it going too far, and that's because we do have a bruiser agent. So we start out with the neurotrope, and we didn't get too many amazing buffs that time, but we do get that counterattack. And we're going to go ahead and melt the armor off Green Goblin. Now it's on to Deadpool. We usually start out with his first ability, so let's go ahead and do that. And then Spider-Man is actually going to give Green Goblin a double attack, since he's a scrapper, but we're going to attack him anyways. This is one of those missions that even on challenge mode isn't very challenging. So we're back to my agent's turn, and we're going to go ahead and use the Warbringer Axe and just see what kind of damage we do. So we did 8k, we applied Intimidated, and we gained an Enraged stack. Now there goes Deadpool's second ability, which is pretty cool. He's now OP and Imba. And for Spider-Man, we're going to get to use that web slingshot. So there goes an alright hit. It was against a class that he's weak against, so that didn't really help him. And this preemptive hit from Hard Knocks finishes him off already. So onto the roulette. And this is the reason that I was running this mission. One of the rewards is the custom Goblin Glider. And you can see that it does major damage. It's stealthy, it deals even more damage against flying targets, and extra damage on critical hits. So if you play that with a gadget that gives you a guaranteed crit, it does some really big damage and can take someone out. In the next adamantium process, I plan on showing only weapons that you can get from current missions. And so I've been running this mission to try to get this weapon, because I really wanted to show you guys, but I haven't been having any luck getting it. And this time's going to be no different. So we do the spin, and it comes out on 3 command points, which I'll take, but I really want to get that item because I want to show you it in PvP and show you that it's a really powerful item that anyone can get from farming the mission. Now we're on to the PvP portion of the video, and we are facing Quicksilver and Phoenix, and I believe it's a generalist Quicksilver. So he's not going to enrage me, but he's not going to hit Spider-Man and then do a double attack with the tag team. So it's win-lose. And luckily Spider-Man did dodge an attack already. So here goes Neurotrope. And like I said, this thing is amazing. The only problem is if it gets removed. So my agent got strengthened. Deadpool got recuperation. And now we're going to use a hotshot. And this hotshot's going to do major damage to their whole team. And I know what you guys are thinking, because I've seen it in comments, and I've gotten messages before. And you're thinking that I heavily outgear this guy. So we're going to show you his stats after the battle. Trust me, I know that when I hit these guys insanely hard like that, it does look like I'm light years ahead of them in armory and hero rating. But oftentimes that isn't the case. So we'll take a look at that after the battle. Right now Phoenix just used Mind Link, which is very predictable. And with Spider-Man, we're going to use Spider Sense. And then we're going to hit their agent and try to kill him and proc Death and Rebirth. So there goes Death and Rebirth. And he is already stunned. So Deadpool is going to get a free double attack on Phoenix. And that should finish her before any Phoenix Fire can be used. And there is a barrage of numbers and a lot of critical hits. I'm not sure what that added up to, but that was a pretty decent attack. So it looks like we have this battle won. We just have to finish their agent, and Quicksilver is really close to death. Now Spider-Man gets a hit because of Quicksilver and Spider Sense going off. So the agent's stunned, and we're going to finish him with pretty much any attack. We'll just use Warbringer Axe. And there's a massive overkill for us. So let's look at these armory ratings. There's always quite a bit of lag at the end of a battle, and I'm not sure why. But I find myself staring at this screen for what seems like forever, but I guess it's only like 10 seconds. So there it is. He has a massive amount of offense. He has me beat in attack and defense. So I really didn't have him beat by that much. The only thing is, he opted to go all out offense and has only 64k defense. So that's why I'm hitting him so hard. Well, because of that and buffs. So anyways, I just wanted to show that. And then in this next battle, in fact there's going to be 2 more, I'm going to show you something else that I rarely have. I guess this is kind of a spoiler. We're going to lose this next battle, and I'm including it because I wanted to make a few points. First off, there's his armory rating, and you can see that he has me beaten offense. He has a ton of attack from hero bonuses, a good defense and accuracy rating, and then his team has lower health than me. So usually someone might look at that and think that I have him heavily outgeared, but you saw that I don't. Also, this is a pretty good team because Black Widow can hit really hard with the Juggernaut's buff, and that's because she has unarmed melee moves, which Flying Kick counts as, and I actually did a 96,000 hit from Black Widow's Flying Kick using this same team. But I want to point out that he used Sinister Scepter. He also has a protecting agent, and since he was able to go first and he used Sinister Scepter, that's going to change the complexity of this whole battle, and that has a lot to do with my team and my items. So I use Hotshot here, and I don't even think I get any stuns. Well, I got a stun on Black Widow, but she still gets to counterattack me, so that's another bad thing, and she hits me for 11k. So you're seeing how this battle isn't going very well for me. The other major problem is the fact that I have a Scrapper and Juggernaut's on the other team. So I'm definitely at a disadvantage right now. Even though it looks like I'm kind of winning because Juggernaut's low in health and Black Widow is also very low in health. But he just gave them strengthened and boosted unarmed melee attacks. On top of that, I can't attack anyone except for his agent with my moves. And that's because I don't have any stealthy attacks. I also don't have any psychic attackers. So I mean, normally I wouldn't have a problem with this team, but I still wanted to show you just some things that you can run into and how a whole battle can be changed by a few unlucky or at least untimely decisions made by the computer AI. So there's nothing I can do till this agent comes out of astral form, which they do pretty quickly, but he does 37,000 damage to Spider-Man and kills him. So now I can go ahead and try to attack whoever, but the agent's going to take the hit. Now don't think that this means that, oh, if I have a protector agent, I'm going to go ahead and do well in PvP. Because most people will have stealth attacks or psychic characters. For instance, people using Kitty Pryde and Phoenix are going to destroy this team. Despite the not great matchup and the bad luck, I still do pretty well in this battle. And I take all 3 of his characters down to almost their last hit. In fact, just one more hit on him, even if I could get a hot shot off, it would be over for his whole team. On top of that, it gets kind of crazy here at the end. Now, Deadpool gets smashed for over 40-some thousand. But we do a hard knocks on Black Widow and kill her. Then we're going to do a hard knocks on the agent. The only problem is I take burning damage and I die just before I'm able to take out the Juggernaut. Now we go ahead and get a rematch against the same team and watch how differently it goes. So their agent gets to start out again, but he starts out with a Warbringer hit. And it does alright damage on my agent. But now it's Spider-Man's turn. We're going to cast Spider Sense, and then we're going to go for the stun. And we get it on their agent. and we really wanted to make sure we stunned their agent. And the main reason is because we did not want him to use Sinister Scepter again. We also want to be able to pick and choose who we hit. So if he's stunned, he can't protect. Now we attack him with Deadpool anyways, since we're going to get a double attack. And then we did get Wine on the Forums to proc on Juggernaut. But of course he hits Deadpool and he's going to get Enrage. So he's going to be doing some big damage later if we don't take care of it. Now it's time for Black Widow. And she misses Spider-Man. She also gives him combat reflexes, but since she's stealthy, he's not going to counterattack. At this point, we decide to just go after their agent. We want him dead and out of the picture. So now it's time for Neurotrope, and then we have a hotshot out there. And you see all the different buffs that we're getting. Deadpool gets strengthened, I get regeneration and agile. And now we're going to use the hotshot, and we were able to take out their agent. So no astral form, no more protecting. We don't have to worry about it. And now it's time to attack Juggernaut, because we don't want him to go ahead and hit anyone for another 40,000 damage. Then we're going to use the level 9 ability of Deadpool on Black Widow. And you can see my team still has a ton of health left, and we destroyed the same guy that just beat us. So no matter what in PvP, sometimes it just comes down to sheer luck. And we'll go ahead and show you the armory and hero ratings once again. Just to show you, I don't extremely outgear anyone. He has 107,000 offense, over 2,000 hero bonus to attack, tons of accuracy, tons of defense. The only thing I have is the generalist and the tactician bonus. But that's all for this episode of Team Spotlight. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you for watching and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos.